Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as it is continuing to look very warm and very dry through the rest of this working week into towards the weekend. Looking likely we'll see temperatures peaking around the 23 or 24 degree mark through parts of England and Wales, elsewhere widely around the high teens or 20 degree points, so very warm and very dry. As we'll see on the GFS, GM, Eastern WF and the ensembles as we do head into the early parts of next week, around 6 or 7 days time, there is a risk we do see some briefly cooler air moving around the high pressure. A bit of instability perhaps with that, and could see a few showers, but it's not concrete that will happen. But even if it did happen, most runs do have us bouncing back to warmer conditions once again within a couple of days. So that's the only real caveat we've got in the next couple of weeks when it comes to the warmer and drier weather. So yeah, continuing to look very stunning over the coming weeks, and even in the longer range, the GFS today producing something that could give us temperatures into the high 20s, maybe even reaching 30 degrees in a few isolated spots as we head into early June. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So to start on the live radar, again, you can see it's very dry and it is very warm once again today. A few showers spotted across Northern Ireland and southern Scotland. Again, just spotted areas of rain within some thicker cloud. Most areas, as I said, are bone dry. But on the temperatures, as of around 4 p.m, or just after 4 p.m. now, so we're at the peak temperatures and coming down slightly. You can see all the darker oranges appearing here, indicating temperatures into the 20 or low 20 degree point, impacting most of England and Wales, especially into this West Midlands point into southern Wales and southwest England. That's where we're seeing the really warmest conditions. Even into Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland and Scotland, we're seeing temperatures widely into the high teens. Again, still slightly cooler there with a bit more cloud associated with it, but still relatively warm. If we do go over to the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature, we can whiz through the precipitation once again, as we are seeing little to no rainfall over the next 5 days. Again, could be a few spotted showers under some thicker cloud at times, but generally it is bone dry with on and off cloud all the way through to the weekend and into towards the end of Sunday and start of Monday. As I said, the only caveat is the upper air temperatures. You can see at the moment is relatively warm, and it will continue to be relatively warm over the coming days. Could oscillate a little bit up and down, especially because we could see a little bit of an easterly flow at times. Again, bringing some briefly cooler air. The surface may impact eastern coastal areas, halting the warmest temperatures from reaching there. But it's as we head into the weekend and start of next week where we could have that cooler air mass drifting, and you can see it there through early hours of Sunday impacting the far north of Scotland, and it does skirt around our eastern edges and perhaps into the early parts of next Monday. We could see it being pulled in more widely around the higher pressure. And this is because if we put on the mean sea level pressure, you can see the wind direction is coming in from the east at this point, dragging that cold air in. And it could give a hit to those temperatures in northern and eastern regions. That's one thing we really do need to keep a close eye on. Again, it won't be doing anything too drastic. Could have a few issues with a few showers, a big thicker cloud, and those temperatures could drop by a few degrees back towards the high teens or mid-teens. But again, it's not that big compared to what we can see this time of year. It's briefly cooler, briefly cooler and briefly cloudier, probably with that too. We'll be able to see that on the 2 meter max temperatures as we do head through the weekend and start of next week. You'll see it does dip a little bit in eastern areas, but today widely into the 20 degree point or low 20s, peaking maybe 22 or 23 across South Wales and southwest England. As we do head into Thursday, once again another very warm day, not quite as warm perhaps as today, but widely once again high teens touching the 20 degree point, peaking maybe 21 or slightly higher again, South Wales or southwest England. As we do head into Friday, once again another warm day, same really as Thursday, widely 19 or 20 degrees, 20, 21 or 22 across the southwest of England and South Wales, and that's the same into Saturday, where it could actually be slightly higher, maybe widely 20 to 22, peaking at 23 or 24, again in those areas across western and southern regions. And finally into Sunday, Still warm in the south, 22 to 24, but you can see in northern and eastern regions dropping down towards the mid-teens. That's because that northeasterly or easterly flow is starting to move in, and we're expected to see that impact us more as we do head into Monday. And you see it is quite cold actually across Scotland and eastern England, mid to low single digits potentially in a few spots as that does move in. So it could turn cooler for a couple of days early next week, but we're not expecting anything really too drastic with that other than, as I said, feeling a couple of degrees colder than what it will have felt the week or so prior. So yeah, nothing too crazy, just continuing to look fairly warm and fairly dry, other than perhaps that slight caveat early next week. Now, if we look at the GFS and see what's happening over the course of the next couple of weeks, again, high pressure is dominating. As we head towards the weekend, though, you can see that brief easterly flow. Look at the upper air temperatures, and that briefly colder air moves in for Monday, maybe lingering into Tuesday, but by Tuesday evening into Wednesday, the warm air returns. So, really briefly for 24 to 36 hours, 36 hours, we could see that colder air. Beyond that, we stay with high pressure in control, and we see a south to southeasterly flow develop. And this could drag up some really warm air in the longer range, but we could see a bit of high pressure retrogressing towards Greenland and maybe a northerly wind arriving. But that's right in the extended range, so we won't have a look at that in too much detail. More around that day 10 point, where we've got some more reliable weather, we can see high pressure is dominating with a southeasterly or easterly flow with warm air drifting up from the southeast. Temperature deviation 6 to 8 degrees above average widely, maybe even as high as 10 degrees above average in a few spots. And again, if we put in the 2-meter temperatures and we do zoom in to the United Kingdom, you'll be able to see that it is very warm. Again, if we're looking at early June here, you can see Saturday the 3rd of June, widely low 20s, peaking at 26 or 27 degrees. As we head into the Sunday, again, mid-20s, 25, 26, into the Monday, once again, mid-20s, 25, 26, or even 27, into Tuesday, again, widely low to mid-20s, peaking at 27, maybe 28, and that just continues through early June, where it could cool off a little bit beyond that as we pull in that northeasterly wind. So you can see here from that day 10 point, or perhaps even slightly earlier, we do start to drag in some really warm air off the near continent, and that could give temperatures as early as around sort of 7 to 10 days time of the mid-20s, maybe even higher as we head through the first full week of June. Need to keep a really close eye on that, as that could be some really quite warm, hotter weather as we do head into the first week or so of meteorological summer. If we do compare to the GEM now, again, high pressure is in control, completely dominating. Could see that brief easterly flow. GM not really producing as much of a cooler air mass there. So you can see still some runs don't produce that colder air at all, like the GM here. But beyond that, we stay very warm and very dry, but right at day 10 we could start to pull in that colder air from the northeast again with that high pressure moving towards Greenland. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. But at least the reliable time frame, up until sort of day 7, day 8, day 9, it keeps us firmly under warm, high pressure, upper air temperatures peak around that 10 degree point, and again, using the unusual rule in the summer of adding 15 degrees to the range of DHPA temperatures, you can see this would give widely low 20s, maybe mid 20s in a few regions. If you look at the ECMWF now, again, high pressure completely dominating. Could see that brief cooler air mass as we head into early next week, but once again, ECMWF not showing as much to it. Perhaps air mass dropping to around sort of 1 or 2 degrees at entry for DHPA, but still nothing that cold. And beyond that, we stay in a warm air mass, and right towards day 10, we could start to see some cooler air drifting in from the north, but it's still even here, established under that warm air mass that is continuing to dominate our weather. Just need to keep an eye on that day 10 of that high pressure moving up, because we are seeing that from the GM in the ECMWF, and around a couple of days later, around that 300-hour point. So about 3 days later, on the GFS, we see that moving up. So you just got to keep an eye on that, as that could develop something a bit cooler and a bit more unsettled if we did see that retrogression. But at the moment, it is staying in the extended range. If you finish by looking at the ensembles, if we start on the GFS ensembles, you can see it's generally around average, really, the upper air temperatures over the next couple of weeks, and you see some of those runs that go a bit more above average are those that give us into the mid-20s. But there is still a lot of uncertainty because of the risk of cooler air moving round the higher pressures. You can see from these cooler runs at the end of May and start of June. Precipitation still is quite minimal, and early June there is the risk of some showers at times. But again, we're not thinking anything too much at this stage, and these are most likely just more unsettled outliers. The majority keep us still really quite dry and still quite warm. If we look at the 2 metre temperatures, you can see widely mid to high teens, if not touching 20 degrees over the coming weeks. And again, these are not always going to pick up the hottest temperatures of the day, as these are estimations at midday and 6 p.m. 3 p.m. is always the hottest point, or 3, 4 p.m. is the hottest point in the summer months, so we're likely to be a couple of degrees above that, and the ensembles normally are not quite as high resolution, so you can sometimes add up to 3 to 5 degrees to this to get the top temperature in the region. So if you use that sort of measure here, we'd be looking at, as I said, around that 20 degree point or low 20s for the majority over the course of the next couple of weeks. If we now compare it to the ECMWF, see how much contrast we're seeing there. ECMWF actually warmer, more above average over the next couple of weeks, and even that cooler spell that could arrive early next week is nowhere near as prominent on the ECMWF ensembles in the majority, keeping us still above average. So ECMWF not really having any of it and keeping us a lot warmer and quite a bit drier compared with the GFS, considering we have 50 ensemble members here. So really quite nice from the ECMWF here. If you are looking for very warm and very dry conditions, ECMWF are the better set of ensembles. GFS a little bit more mixed signals. Again, look at the 2 metre temperatures for this ECMWF operation ensemble run. Again, high teens into the low 20s over the next couple of weeks. Can't get much better than that this time of year. Not too oppressively hot, but equally not particularly cool either. Just sort of that perfect high teens, low 20 degree range, where I think a lot of people could agree it's sort of the perfect summertime conditions. And yeah, being bone dry at least for the next 5 days, and most likely for the next 7 to 10 days. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you go out and enjoy all of that warmer weather we're going to be seeing over the coming days, and hopefully the coming weeks and months. And I'll see you again for another video soon.